calling on President Donald John Trump, the Honorable President of the United States, as a Canadian who is dual Canadian-American citizen, and a proud Canadian at that, who has chosen this country over America to live in. I am calling on the President of the United States to close the Canadian-U.S. border and to build a great, big, huge wall along the border between Canada and the United States for America's protection, not Canada's. And he should keep the border closed and not let in a single Canadian, not one single Canadian, because they're the ones who elected this long-haired macdaddy, emissary of the devil, who I believe is giving aid and comfort to ISIS. Trump should close the border and close off all trade with Canada until Canadians smarten up and get rid of Justin the long-haired macdaddy Trudeau. Until Canadians get rid completely, like the plague, get rid of Justin the long-haired macdaddy Trudeau. No Canadian should be welcomed in America at all, not to shop, not for vacation, nothing, unless you are a dual citizen, which in case you have the right to go like me. No Canadian should be allowed near the border, and you should build a huge wall to protect America from Canada's stupid decision. Because, my friends, and I'm not saying this because I hate my country, I chose this, I could be living in America right now, just so you know. I'm saying this because our Prime Minister, the long-haired macdaddy Justin Trudeau, is now saying that he wants to rehabilitate ISIS. So ISIS can just come on over to Canada. Come on over here. Come on over here, ISIS. Come on over here, ISIS. Come on over here. Drink some lemonade and, have some grits and come on over here. Put your feet up, ISIS. We're going to rehabilitate you, boy. We're going to rehabilitate you. We're going to rehabilitate you. And we are going to trust that when we feel you are rehabilitated, you will go out into the world and do great things for our country. But ISIS is saying to himself, hey, I'll take this opportunity to go on to Canada. I'll go on to Canada. I'll pretend to be rehabilitated. And then I'm going to hatch a plan to destroy Canada. And in the process, I'll try and destroy America as well. I think Donald Trump should go to the U.S. and should go to the UN, the United Nations, and demand that the United Nations put Canada on the list of state sponsors of terrorism. Put Canada on the list of state sponsors of terrorism and build a huge wall, and no Canadian can cross that border until they get rid of Justin the long-haired macdaddy Trudeau and put in somebody who is going to get rid of ISIS, lock their ass up, hang them if you have to, but get rid of ISIS. If you want to rehabilitate, don't even try and rehabilitate them, because what's going to happen is ISIS is going to, even if they can be rehabilitated, my friends, let's say, for example, ISIS can be rehabilitated. I don't think they can, but let's say they can. Let's say God came down from heaven and said, Michael, what you saying is bullshit. Everyone can be rehabilitated. Okay, so everyone can be rehabilitated. So then ISIS brings its people over one by one, or ISIS people go in and to Canada and say they're going to be rehabilitated. But one of them is tricking Canada, pretending to want rehabilitation, but they're tricking Canada just so they can gain access to Canada. They want to gain access to Canada. So they gain access to Canada, and once they've gained access to Canada, and then they fake being rehabilitated, then they destroy Canada! They destroy Canadians! And then they could destroy Americans as well! Not to mention, Justin the long-haired macdaddy Trudeau has just, and I'll put the link up there, he has said that knives, actual knives that you stab with, can be allowed on aeroplanes on some international and all domestic flights in Canada. That's another reason I think Donald John Trump, the Honorable President of the United States, should close the border between Canada and America. What's to say that some Canadian flight where they've just now allowed knives on the plane comes into America and some terrorist has hijacked that plane and then they want to crash it into the Pentagon again, or the White House, or the Capitol, finish off 9/11, finish off where they started, or the Sears Tower, or Trump Tower, or somewhere else, and more Americans are killed again. I mean, if Canada is stupid enough to allow knives on aeroplanes, which Trudeau has done, his long-haired Mac Daddy Justin Trudeau has done, and his government has done, they say you're allowed to bring knives on aeroplanes, then America should close the border between America and Canada, and no Canadian is allowed in America until they get rid of Justin the long-haired Mac Daddy, or at least until he stops bringing in ISIS in here, and he stops these stupid decisions like allowing knives on planes, because he's not only harming Canadians, he's harming America as well. The problem is, we elected him. Well, I didn't elect him, and most people didn't elect him, but 39.5% of Canada elected him, which is enough to get him elected. And now he's the prime minister for the next 2 years now, until 2019. But Americans did not elect this fool. They elected Donald J. Trump, who's doing a great job getting rid of terrorists, getting jobs back. The economy's growing. He cares about his country. This guy don't care about. He gives all of our tax dollars to other countries every single day. Americans didn't elect Trudeau, so why should they have to suffer because of his stupidity? When he allows knives on airplanes and then the terrorists hijack the plane from Canada and bring it to America, when he's allowing ISIS in the country to allow them to be rehabilitated. Even the border officials, American border officials, have said that the terror threat won't come from Mexico, it'll come from Canada. So Trump, I will give you the bricks. I will build it myself. Build a wall between Canada and America, and no Canadian can come in. I don't care if they want to go shopping. I don't want to care if they want to go to a restaurant, if they want to go to Applebee's, if they want to go to Golden Corral, if they want to go to Old Country Buffet, if they want to go, I don't care what, they can't come to America. And you have to close that border and build a wall until Canadians get rid of Justin the long-haired Mac Daddy Trudeau. And you will see how quickly Canadians get rid of Trudeau once Trump says no Canadians are allowed in America. Listen, Canadians don't hate America. Sometimes they want to pretend like they hate America. Let me tell you something. I go to America on a regular basis, and the border is always packed with a bunch of Ontario license plates. They want to go to Walmart and Raymore and Flanagan and all these other, and the Galleria Mall, and they all go in there. Hey, if Trump says you guys can't come back here, Canadians will get rid of Trudeau like the plague. They will get rid of Trudeau like a boy gets rid of the flu. They will get rid of Trudeau. They will throw him in the Rideau Canal and ice it over so he can't come out. If Donald Trump says he's closing the border and building the wall and saying no Canadians can come in. Now, I'm sure there are going to be Canadians here who say, oh, Michael, you're being unpatriotic. You're being disloyal. How can you say that? And you're a Canadian. You are a traitor. You are this. I ain't no traitor. I ain't no traitor. It's you all who are the traitors. It's you all who elected Justin the long-haired Mac Daddy Trudeau. And now what he's doing is giving your tax dollars and my tax dollars to other countries. He cuts the tax benefits for diabetics and mentally ill people. And then he doesn't do anything about the Native Americans who are living with poisonous water on Northern Ontario reserves. But then he gives billions of dollars to Indonesia to help them fix their infrastructure. He gives billions of dollars to African and Middle Eastern nations to help them with their food crisis. He gives millions of dollars to Iraq and Syria. He gives billions of our tax dollars to every country in the world, and he cuts on us. You all are the traitors. You all are the traitors. My idea, if Trump were to build a wall around the Canadian-American border and prevent not even the slightest Canadian to come into America who is not American, dual citizen like me, no Canadian come into America, you'll see how quickly Americans get rid of the long-haired macdaddy. And once they do, peace will come back to Canada. Prosperity will come back to Canada. Jobs will come back to Canada. And ISIS will be out of Canada. We'll be arresting ISIS. We won't be putting knives on planes. We won't be having a job-killing carbon tax, which will be worse for the environment because all the carbon jobs will go to China and all other countries and pollute our environment even more because those countries don't have environmental regulations. You'll see how Canada soars. Canada would soar if they were to get rid of Justin the long-haired macdaddy Trudeau. And they would if Donald Trump came out right now and said, I'm building a wall between Canada and the United States, and no Canadians are allowed to even fly over the U.S., to swim to the U.S., to drive to the U.S., or walk to the U.S. until Canadians get rid of Justin the long-haired macdaddy Trudeau. This is the Arana Nation, the patriotic Arana Nation. I thank you.